Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not who you wish you spent time with. Not who you think influences you. The actual 5 people, the ones whose voices you hear most often, whose habits you observe most closely, whose way of moving through the world is most present in your daily life. Now ask yourself honestly, are they making you better? Are they the kind of people who, over time, pull you towards something you want to become? Or are they the kind of people who, over time, are quietly pulling you somewhere else? Korean wisdom has a 4-character phrase for what happens when you don't ask this question. Junmayaug, Jun Muk Ya Huk. Those who are near the ink become black. Welcome back to K-Wisdom, where 4 characters hold thousands of years of Korean wisdom. Today, Junmayaug, the ancient warning about environment, influence, and the slow invisible way the people around you are always, whether you notice or not, changing who you are. Let's start with the 4 characters. Jin Jun, near, close to, in proximity with. Mo Muk, ink, the black ink used in traditional East Asian writing and painting. Sha Ya, one who, a person who does something. Hei Huk, black, dark, the color that ink leaves. Jin Mo Hei, those who are near the ink become black. 4 characters. An ink stone, a person standing too close. And the slow, invisible, entirely inevitable transfer of color. Junmayaug comes from a text written in Jin Dynasty China around the 3rd century by a scholar named Fu Xuan. Fu Xuan was writing Taeasobujum, a guide for the teachers of the crown prince. Instructions for how to raise a future king. What to teach him, what to protect him from, what environment to place him in. And in that document, in the section about who the prince should spend his time with, Fu Xuan wrote, Jin Zhu J Kai Junju Hajiag, Jin Mo J Hei Junmayaug, those near the red become red. Those near the ink become black. 2 lines. A pair. A warning and its opposite. The environment you place a person in, the colors they are surrounded by will eventually color them. For a future king, this was not a metaphor. It was policy. Choose the prince's companions carefully. Choose his teachers carefully. Choose what he sees and hears daily. Because over time, all of it becomes part of who he is. The image at the heart of Junmayaug is worth sitting with. Ink. Traditional ink, the kind used in East Asian calligraphy and painting for thousands of years, leaves marks. That is its purpose. You use it to make things visible that were not visible before. But ink also marks unintentionally. Stand near enough to someone working with ink and it finds you on your sleeve, your fingers, the edge of your hand. Not because you reached for it. Because you were close enough for it to reach you. Junmayaug is this image applied to human beings. You don't have to choose to be influenced by the people around you. You don't have to consciously decide to adopt their habits, their attitudes, their ways of seeing. It happens through proximity, through the accumulation of small exposures, through the daily absorption of what surrounds you. The ink doesn't ask permission to mark you. It just does. Junmayaug always comes paired with its opposite. Jin Zhu J Kai Junju Hajiag, those near the red become red. The full teaching is a pair. Not only a warning but a promise. If ink marks you darker, then the right environment marks you brighter. The people who are curious make you more curious. The people who work hard make hard work feel normal. The people who are generous make generosity feel like the obvious way to be. The people who take their lives seriously make seriousness feel available rather than unusual. Junju Hajiag, those near the red become red. Junmayaug, those near the ink become black. You are being colored right now. Every day, by every person you spend significant time with. The question Junmayaug asks is not whether this is happening. It is asking, what color are you becoming? The most important word in Junmayaug is the one that isn't there. The phrase doesn't say those near the ink immediately become black. It says those near the ink become black. The time is implied. The process is implied. The gradual, accumulative, almost invisible nature of the change is the whole point. This is what makes environmental influence so difficult to notice and so easy to underestimate. If the people around you suddenly made you dramatically different, you would notice. You would feel the change. You would have the opportunity to decide whether you wanted it. But that's not how ink works. Ink works slowly, through repeated exposure, through the accumulated weight of small consistent contacts. The person you are 5 years from now has been shaped by 5 years of daily contact with the people around you, their habits, their attitudes, their values, their ways of responding to difficulty. You are the average of your environment. Slowly, invisibly, without drama, and usually without realizing it has happened until you look back from a distance. Junmayaug is connected to one of the most famous stories in Korean cultural history. 맹모삼천지교. Mencius's mother moved her home 3 times. Mencius, the great Confucian philosopher, was a child whose mother was watching what was happening to him. Their first home was near a cemetery. Young Mencius began imitating the funeral ceremonies he saw. His mother moved. Their second home was near a market. Young Mencius began imitating the merchants, the haggling, the transactions, the particular energy of commerce. His mother moved again. Their third home was near a school. Young Mencius began imitating the scholars, studying, discussing, practicing the rituals of learning. His mother stayed. Mencius's mother understood Junmayag before anyone wrote it down as 4 characters. She understood that her son would become what surrounded him. Not through choice, not through deliberate imitation, through the simple, powerful fact of proximity. She chose his environment as carefully as she chose his food, because she understood that both were nourishment. Here is the uncomfortable truth that Junmayag contains. You will not notice when it happens. The person who spends years around cynical people doesn't wake up one morning and say, I have become cynical. They just notice, eventually, that hope feels naive to them now. That they have explanations ready for why things don't work. That optimism in others irritates them in ways it didn't used to. The person who spends years around people who don't take their work seriously doesn't notice themselves lowering their standards. They just notice that what used to feel like settling now feels like reality. The person who spends years around people who are generous and curious and genuinely engaged with their lives doesn't notice themselves becoming those things. They just notice, one day, that they have become someone who behaves differently than they did. Junmayag is not about bad people making you bad. It is about the slow, persistent, entirely human way that we absorb the norms of wherever we spend our time. You are being shaped right now. Today, without your conscious participation. The question is only whether you are paying attention to what is doing the shaping. Junmayag invites a specific, uncomfortable audit. The 5 people you spend the most time with. Not your 5 favorite people. Not the 5 people you would choose if designing your ideal life. The 5 actual people, the ones whose presence is most consistent in your daily reality. Ask honestly, when you spend time with them, do you leave feeling more capable or less capable? More motivated or less motivated? More like the person you want to be or less? Do they challenge you to think differently? Do they hold standards that pull you upward? Do they model ways of being that you genuinely admire? Or do they quietly normalize things you once found concerning? Make it easier to settle? Make the gap between who you are and who you want to be feel like something to accept rather than something to close. This is not about judging people. It is about being honest about what ink you are near. Because you are being colored. Every day, the only choice is whether you choose the color consciously. Junmayag contains something that modern psychology has spent decades confirming. Environment is more powerful than willpower. The person who relies on willpower to resist the influence of a negative environment is fighting uphill every day, against a current that never stops. The person who designs their environment, who chooses carefully what surrounds them, who they spend time with, what they expose themselves to daily, does not have to fight. The current is going where they want to go. Mencius's mother didn't tell young Mencius to be stronger than his environment. She changed the environment. Junmayag is not a criticism of weak people who are too easily influenced. It is a realistic description of how all human beings work. We are all social creatures. We are all shaped by our surroundings. The question is not whether you are being shaped, you are. The question is whether you are choosing what does the shaping. It is worth remembering why Fu Xuan wrote Junmayag. He was writing a guide for the people responsible for raising the future king. And his argument was this: you cannot separate the person from their environment. The crown prince will become what surrounds him. So the most important work you can do, more important than any individual lesson, is to design his environment with extraordinary care. Who does he spend time with? Who are his companions? Who are his teachers? What does he see daily? What is normalized in the world he inhabits? Get the environment right, and the lessons will follow. Get it wrong, and all the lessons in the world cannot fully counteract what proximity is quietly teaching. This was advice for raising a king. But the logic applies to anyone. You are the crown prince of your own life. And the question is, who is designing your environment? What are you choosing to be near? Junmayag was written about the physical world, about who you stand near, who you walk with, who you eat with. In the modern world, the concept has expanded to include something Mencius's mother could not have imagined. Your digital environment. The content you consume every day, the accounts you follow, the communities you participate in, the algorithm that learns what to show you. This is also an ink stone. It also marks you, slowly, invisibly, through accumulated exposure. The person who spends hours daily in communities built around outrage becomes more outraged. Not because they chose that. Because that is what they were near. The person who spends hours in communities built around curiosity and learning becomes more curious. Because that is what surrounded them. Junmayaog in 2026 is not only about your 5 closest friends. It is about your feed, your algorithm, the digital ink you stand near every day without quite noticing how dark your hands are getting. Junmayaog is not a fatalistic idea. It is not saying you are helpless. Your environment determines you and there is nothing you can do about it. It is saying your environment determines you. So choose your environment. This is the empowering version of the same truth. If you are shaped by who you are near, then deliberately choosing who to be near is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. Move toward the people who are doing what you want to do. Who have the qualities you want to develop. Who treat the things you care about as things worth caring about. Who make your best self feel like a realistic version of you rather than an aspirational fantasy. Junjuhajiog, move near the red. Let the red mark you. And move away from the ink, or at least, move away from the ink you don't want coloring you. This is not selfishness. It is Junmayaog, applied with intention rather than absorbed by accident. Here is something Junmayaog says quietly, something that is easy to miss because we are so focused on what is marking us. You are also ink. You are also an environment for someone else. The people near you, your friends, your family, your colleagues, are standing next to your inkstone every day. They are absorbing what you normalize. Adopting what you make feel ordinary. Being colored by your presence as surely as you are being colored by theirs. What color are you? When people spend time with you, do they leave feeling more capable or less? More like who they want to be or less? Do you normalize effort, honesty, generosity, genuine engagement? Or do you normalize complaint, cynicism, smallness, settling? Junmayaog is not only a question about who is coloring you. It is a question about what color you are leaving on the people who stand near you. The ink stone doesn't only mark the person standing closest to it. It marks everyone in the room. Mencius's mother moved 3 times. She was not a philosopher. She was not famous. She was a mother paying attention to what her child was absorbing from the world around him. And her choice, her deliberate, inconvenient, twice repeated decision to change his environment, produced one of the most influential philosophers in all of East Asian history. A man whose ideas shaped Korean and Chinese ethics and education for over 2,000 years. Whose thinking is still present in Korean culture today. Junmayaog, the ink colors you. Junjuhajiog, the right environment shapes you towards something better than you might have become alone. Mencius's mother chose the school. And the world received Mencius. One deliberate choice about proximity. Rippling across 2,000 years. Junmayaog asks something of everyone who hears it. An honest audit. Not a flattering one. Not a defensive one. Just honest. What ink am I near? Who are the people whose presence is most constant in my life, and what are they doing to me, slowly, without either of us noticing? What am I consuming daily in what I read, watch, listen to, participate in, and what is it doing to how I see the world? What environment am I in at work, at home, in my communities, and is it pulling me towards something I want to become, or quietly normalizing something I said I didn't want? These are not comfortable questions. Honest audits rarely are, but Junmayaog has been asking them for nearly 2,000 years. Because the people who ask these questions and act on the answers tend to end up somewhere different from those who don't. Usually somewhere better. Junmayaog, Junjuhajiog, 2 halves of the same truth. The ink marks you darker. The red marks you brighter. Both happen through proximity. Both happen slowly. Both happen whether you are paying attention or not. The person who understands Junmayaog does not only ask what bad influence am I near. They ask what good influence am I not near enough to? Who is doing what I want to do, and am I spending time with them? What environment has the qualities I want to develop, and am I in it? What communities normalize the things I care about, and am I participating in them? Junjuhajiog is not passive. It requires the same deliberate choice that Mencius's mother made. The same willingness to move physically, digitally, socially toward the colors you want to absorb. Be near the red. On purpose. Consistently. The way you would water a plant you want to grow. Fu Xuan wrote Junmayaog for the teachers of a crown prince. But every person reading this is the crown prince of their own life. Your environment is being designed either by you, deliberately, or by circumstance and inertia, without your conscious participation. The ink is already marking you. Today, right now, through the people you are near, the content you are consuming, the communities you inhabit, the norms you are absorbing without quite noticing. Junmayaog is not a warning to be afraid of influence. You cannot escape influence. You are a social creature in a social world, and influence is the medium you live in. Junmayaog is a call to be intentional about it. To choose your ink consciously. To move toward the red deliberately. To design your environment the way Mencius's mother designed her sons, with the understanding that what surrounds you, over time, becomes you. You are the crown prince. Who is designing your environment? That is Junmayag. Those who are near the ink become black. Written nearly 2,000 years ago for the teachers of a future king. True then, true now, true in every environment, every relationship, every digital feed, every community a person belongs to. You are being colored, every day, by everything you are near. The ink doesn't ask permission. It doesn't announce itself. It marks through proximity, through repetition, through the accumulated weight of daily exposure to what surrounds you. Junmayag, Junjuhajiag, near the ink you darken. Near the red you brighten. Both are available. Both are happening. The only question is which one you are choosing. Choose consciously. Move deliberately. Be near what you want to become. And remember, the color you are near is not only marking you. It is marking everyone near you. So here are your questions for today. What ink are you near? The 5 people, the daily content, the communities, the environments. What is coloring you right now, and is it the color you want to become? And what red are you not near enough to? Who has the qualities you want? What environments have the norms you want to absorb? What communities normalize what you care about? And finally, the quiet one. What color are you leaving on the people near you? Tell us in the comments. Because Junmayag conversations, honest ones, about what we are near and what it is doing to us, are some of the most important ones we can have. Thank you for watching K-Wisdom, where 4 characters hold thousands of years of Korean wisdom. If this stayed with you, if you are thinking about your ink, please like and subscribe. There are many more 4 characters waiting. See you next time on K-Wisdom.